Now we will see some regular chemical properties of these group elements together. What type of chemical properties they can show. The first one, the chemical property, reaction towards hydrogen. The chemical properties of 15th group elements. Reaction towards hydrogen. When these group elements combine with hydrogen, and generally they can form MH3 type of hydrides. And they can form MH3 type hydrides. Here MH3 means we have the ammonia, phosphine, arsine, stibine, bismuthine. And these are the compound names. This is ammonia, this is phosphine, this is arsine, this is stibine, this is bismuthine. So these are the hydrides, and their properties very important here. Properties of hydrides. First, if we see the bond character, nitrogen hydrogen bond and bismuth hydrogen bond. The bonding nature. So based on the bonding nature, various properties depends. Nitrogen hydrogen bond and bismuth hydrogen bond. So the nitrogen is more electronegative in nature, and whereas the bismuth less electronegative in nature. The more electronegativity difference, this nitrogen hydrogen bond is stronger. It can form the strong bond, and this bismuth hydrogen bond due to the less electronegativity difference, this is little weaker, and this is weak bond. So overall you can see from ammonia 2 to the bismuthine, the metal hydrogen bond, the bond strength of metal hydrogen top to bottom decreases. So the bond strength decreases, ultimately the stability of the compound decreases top to bottom, means the thermal stability decreases. So if the thermal stability decreases, means this bismuth hydrogen bond can break very easily, means the bismuth can give the proton very easily. So we can we can give another answer here, that so bismuth hydride is more acidic in nature than the ammonia. Means top to bottom these hydrides acidic strength increases, means basic strength decreases, and ammonia is a strong Lewis base compared to the remaining hydrides. Again, top to bottom, the donating nature of the hydrogen means the bond can break very easily, so it can give hydrogen very easily, means what bismuth can act as a strong reducing agent compared to the ammonia. Top to bottom reducing nature decreases. So like this, the properties depends on the bonding nature of nitrogen hydrogen. Let us see these points here. First one, thermal stability. Top to bottom thermal stability decreases, or this antimony bismuth. And this is the order. And this is the thermal stability, quite opposite, the reducing nature. Reducing nature top to bottom increases, here decreases, here increases. Reverse we have to take. Bismuthine is having more reducing nature. Then hydrides acidic strength. Very importantly, they will ask you in terms of Lewis basic strength, that is quite opposite to the acidic strength. Let us take Lewis basic strength. Ammonia is a good Lewis base. Top to bottom basic strength decreases, but acidic strength increases. Ammonia is a good Lewis base. Phosphine, orcine, antimony and bismuth. Stibine and bismuthine. So next other properties here. Bond angle. This is also very important. Bond angle. Top to bottom bond angle decreases. Again, nitrogen is more electronegativity atom. As a central atom, electronegativity decreases, the bond angles decreases. So nitrogen is more electronegative in nature, a more bond angle, and the remaining they are having less bond angle, means top to bottom bond angle decreases. Say ammonia, almost the bond angle is 107 degrees, but the remaining compounds, if you see, their bond angles very close to, nearer to the 90 degrees. Here phosphine almost 93, orcine 92, 91, 90, means very close to the 90 degree angle. Why they are close to the 90 degree angle means, in these hydrides there is no involvement of hybridization. Here ammonia only can undergo hybridization, that is sp3 hybridization with one lone pair 107, and whereas these remaining compounds there is no involvement of hybridization, no hybridization. Why there is no hybridization? That is due to the Dragos rules. Now, according to the Drago rules. So, this Drago rule already we have discussed at the time of chemical bonding. So, according to that, there is no hybridization. That is why only 3 bonds, only pure p orbitals involved in the overlapping, and they can form almost 3 p orbitals. They are almost 90 degree. So, sometimes phosphine will get more than 90, 93, but very close to each other. And this is very important, the bond angle order. Top to bottom, bond angle decreases. Next, solubility. Anyhow, top to bottom solubility again decreases. Ammonia can show the more soluble in nature. Based on that, we have one more important point, boiling point. This is also very important. Boiling point. Generally, top to bottom, as the size of the molecule increases, the boiling point should be increased. But again, some irregular behavior with ammonia, because ammonia can undergo hydrogen bond formation, and due to the hydrogen bond, it can show some irregular behavior than the regular. Actually, top to bottom boiling point should increase. Means phosphine is having the less boiling point, but actually ammonia should have. But here there is a small exception. Next, orcine, then after ammonia will come. Then stibine and bismuthine. And this is the boiling point order. This irregular behavior for ammonia is due to the hydrogen bond formation. And these hydrides mostly exist in the gaseous form, but ammonia sometimes exists in the liquid state due to the hydrogen bond. But all these gases, they are having pungent order. They are having pungent order, and they are poisonous in nature also. Top to bottom, the poisonous nature increases. So they are having very suffocating order. The top to bottom here, ammonia anyhow very pungent in smell, and phosphine and still more pungent. Top to bottom like this, we cannot inhale these type of gases. They are not comfortable for breath, suffocating in nature, and toxicity also increases top to bottom. Toxicity of these hydrides increases. From ammonia to the bismuthine. And these are some important points about these hydrides. Next we have reaction towards oxygen. Next one, reactivity towards oxygen. And these elements, when they combine with oxygen, mostly they can form binary type of oxides, and they are M2O3 and M2O5 type oxides. M2O3 trioxides and M2O5 pentoxide. They can form trioxides and pentoxides. I will see first here trioxides. What are the trioxide? N2O3, P2O3, AS2O3, Sb2O3 and Ba2O3. And these oxides acidic strength, general oxides acidic strength top to bottom decreases. Why? Because top to bottom metallic nature increases. As the metallic nature increases, basic nature increases. So first two oxides, nitrogen and phosphorus, they are acidic in nature. And the next two, they are the metalloids, and their oxides are amphoteric in nature. And bismuth oxide, anyhow, this is a basic. So top to bottom acidic strength decreases, nitrogen to bismuth. And these oxides, when dissolved in water, they can form S acids and react with water. Let me take N2O3, and if we dissolve in water, it can form HNO2, nitrous acid. Similarly, P2O3 can dissolve in water, it can form phosphorus acid, and they can form S acids when dissolved in water. And there is a trioxides. Next, pentoxides. Mainly here we have to concentrate the acidic strength, the top to bottom, which are the acids or which are the amphoteric in nature and which are the basic in nature, especially in case of trioxides. Next, pentoxides. They can form the pentoxides like N2O5, P2O5, AS2O5, Sb2O5 and Ba2O5. Anyhow, generally compare with the trioxides and pentoxide, element with higher oxidation state is more acidic in nature. So pentoxides are more acidic in nature compared to the trioxide. So here all are acidic in nature only, but acidic strength top to bottom decreases. N2O5 is a stronger acid and B2O5 is a very weak acid. And this is a strong acid and this is a very weak acid. Top to bottom acidic strength decreases. Again, these oxides, pentoxide, when dissolved in water, and they can form corresponding epoxy acids. N2O5 on hydrolysis can form HNO3. It's a nitric acid. Similarly, P2O5 on hydrolysis can give phosphoric acid, and so on. And one more important point here, especially phosphorus oxides, actually they exist as a dimers. If you see P2O3 and P2O5, and these oxide most of the time they exist as a dimers like P4O6, and this can exist as a P4O10, a dimeric form. And nitrogen, apart from these trioxides and pentoxide, can show other type of variable oxides like nitrous oxide, nitric oxide, nitrogen trioxide, nitrogen dioxide and nitrogen pentoxide. Again here NO2 nitrogen dioxide also exists in the dimeric form as N2O4, and NO also very low temperature condition exists as a dimer. This is very rare, better to go with this one. N2O4 mostly can exist in the dimeric form. Again acidic strength, if you see among these oxides, element with a higher oxidation state is more acidic in nature than the lower oxidation state. N2O5 is a strong acid, and the first two, N2O and NO, they are neutral oxides, and the remaining three oxides are acidic in nature. But among all, N2O5 is a stronger acid. This is something about the oxides of these group elements. The next, third one, reactivity towards halogens. Reactivity towards halogen. Again here these 15th group elements, when they react with halogen, they will form MX3 type and MX5 type of the halides. This is the trihalides and the pentahalides. And they can form MX3 type trihalides and MX5 type pentahalides. Again, we will see first trihalides here. Nitrogen halides means fluoride, chloride, bromide, iodide. Phosphorus halides, fluoride, chloride, bromide, iodide, and so many are there. But come to the nitrogen case. Among all nitrogen trihalides, nitrogen trifluorides are very stable compared to the chloride, bromide, and iodide. Here, among nitrogen trihalides, NF3 is stable. Remaining are unstable in nature, and here NCl3 a little explosive in nature, and the remaining they exist very rare manner, NBr3 and Ni3. And these are the remaining halides. So why? Because here why they are less stable? Here nitrogen is a smaller size and iodine is a bigger size, and the small size cannot accommodate the bigger size halides, and also due to the electronegativity difference they are less stable in nature. So NF3 is the more stable due to the smaller size, so it can form stable halide. In the remaining halides case, except bismuth trihalide, remaining all are covalent in nature. All other are covalent. Why? Because here bismuth, the cation size is more. As the cation size increases, its ionic nature increases. The remaining small cation, they can form covalent. Mostly bismuth fluorides are little ionic in nature. And here another point, so except this NF3, nitrogen trifluoride, and phosphorus trifluoride, remaining trihalides are readily soluble in water. These two are insoluble in nature, except these two. Remaining trihalides readily soluble in water. So why here NF3 and PF3 less soluble? That is due to the more lattice energy. They are having high lattice energy. Generally, solubility depends on the both factors, lattice energy and hydration energy. But in this case, NF3 and PF3, the lattice energy is more. This is a dominating factor. That is why they are less soluble in nature. And the other halides, when they undergo hydrolysis, they can form this type of compounds. Let us see few examples here. Nitrogen halide, mainly chloride. nitrogen trichloride, when it undergo hydrolysis, it will give ammonia plus HOCl, hypohalous acid. And similarly PCl3, when undergo hydrolysis, it will give phosphorus acid and HCl. And AsCl3, they can undergo hydrolysis. It also give arsenic acid, H3AsO3, and releases HCl. Next, antimony and bismuth, SbCl3, and it can give antimonyl chloride, SbOCl, 2HCl, BiCl3, it can give bismuthyl chloride or oxychloride, and this is HCl. And if you see all these halides, nitrogen can show one type of reaction, and these two can show one type of behavior, and these two can show one type of behavior. And that is mainly due to the electronegativity difference. Here nitrogen compared to chlorine is more electronegative in nature. This is a negative and positive. And in water we have hydrogen plus and OH minus. So we have H plus and OH minus. So positive will attack on the negative part and negative will attack on the positive part. So that is why nitrogen will take up the hydrogen, it will form ammonia and HOCl. The remaining case, phosphorus, this is a positive and this is negative. Now, chlorine is more electronegative compared to the phosphorus. That is why again here we have H plus and OH minus. Phosphorus can take OH negative ion, it can form phosphoric acid, and chlorine negative, so it can take H plus ion, it can form HCl. The same arsenic case also the similar scenario. But whereas in case of antimony and bismuth, antimony and bismuth in plus 3 oxidation state, they are very less stable, top to bottom, high reactive in nature, Sb plus 3 and Bi plus 3, high reactive in nature. The high reactivity, they can break this molecule into H plus and O2 minus directly. So that will give SbOCl and BiOCl. And HCl, little different in manner due to the high reactivity nature. So these are the points. Ammonia, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, they can show in a different behavior manner. And here BiOCl, this is called bismuth oxychloride, also called pearl white. And this is bismuth oxychloride. It is a white color precipitate and also called pearl white. And this is BiOCl, this you should remember. Next, pentahalides. And here nitrogen never form pentahalides, as we know that is due to the absence of vacant d orbitals. And this statement is very important. Nitrogen never form pentahalides. Why? Because due to the absence of vacant d orbitals or absence of d orbitals simply. The remaining phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, they can form. Again, in case of bismuth, hardly form the pentahalides. In that we know only bismuth pentafluoride. Bismuth, fluorine only can form pentahalides with the bismuth. The remaining halides, chloride, bromide, iodide cannot form. Why? Because again, here due to the more electronegativity of fluorine, fluorine only can cause the excitation for the bismuth. It can excite the electron and to remove the electrons to get a +5 oxidation state. But the chlorine, bromine, iodine, due to the less electronegativity, they cannot excite the electrons. That is why we can see only bismuth pentafluorides. The other important points, if we compare the stability of trihalides and pentahalides, generally trihalides are more stable than the pentahalides. Trihalides are more stable. Than pentahalides. So why? Because here as a metal hydrogen percentage means as a percentage of halogen increases, the metal halogen bond weakens. Then ultimately the stability decreases. Another way also trihalides, they are having only one type of bond lengths and one type of bond angles. Whereas in case of pentahalides, we have the two types of bond angles and two types of bond lengths. That also leads to the decreasing in stability. And trihalides, we can see one type of bond angles. And bond lengths. But here pentahalides, two types of bond angles that may cause the repulsions, more bond angles, different bond angles and different bond lengths. This may also cause to decrease the stability of the pentahalides. And here these pentahalides easily can undergo hydrolysis and they can form phosphoric acids. When pentahalides undergo hydrolysis, they can form ic acids. So this one. And some other important points about these pentahalides, about especially phosphorus halides. PCl5, phosphorus pentachloride in solid state can exist as ionic form, the dimeric ionic form. In solid state exist as PCl4 plus and PCl6 minus. Similarly, phosphorus pentabromide in solid state exists as PBr4 plus and Br minus. And this again very important, the existence of PCl5 and PBr5 in solid state.
Sir?
Then we can identify there, according to they'll ask you the question, what is the hybridization of phosphorus in cationic form and what is the hybridization of phosphorus in anionic form. And similarly in case of bromine, cationic form, anionic form. This you please correct it. This is H3MO4. I wrote wrong here. This is element. Ic acids H3MO4, not it. Fourth one, reactivity towards some metals. Reactivity towards metals. Let us see few elements here. Nitrogen, when it combined with the metals like magnesium, for example, it can form magnesium nitride. When it reacts with the sodium, it can form sodium nitride or sodium azide. NaN3 type. It reacts with calcium, it can form calcium nitride. Some metal, when react with the metal, they can form nitrides, azides, something. Phosphorus also, when it react with some metals, it can form with the calcium, it can form calcium phosphide. And if you take arsenic, it can form sodium arsenide. And you can take antimony, it can form zinc antimony. And bismuth, magnesium bismuthide, Mg3Ba. These are a few examples. When they react with metal, they can form the corresponding binary compounds. They're not that much important, just show the basic idea towards the metals. So these are the few important chemical properties of all elements together with respect to here mainly hydrogen, oxygen, halide. That is very, very important. That the hydrides, very, very important. The trends, how ammonia to the bismuthine increasing or decreasing orders.